Hello, good day everyone. In this opportunity, I would like to present our research with the title Transitioning to Online Learning for Indonesian High School Students, Challenges and Possible Solutions. First of all, let me introduce myself. My name is Maresha Caroline Wijanto, and I collaborated with Oscar Karnalim in this works. We are lecturer from Maranatha Christian University, Indonesia. Then, please allow me to present our research. Due to COVID-19, many schools and universities are forced to do online learning. Though high school students are considerably aware with information technologies, the transition was so sudden, while many of the students were not used to study online. And a few other studies highlight major difficulties caused by the transition, such as more distraction at home, students required to learn varieties of learning technologies, need more time in learning, or problem with the internet connection. Among these studies, only one of them is focused on high school students. And since the study was performed on Finland, a developed country with a relatively small number of COVID-19 cases, the findings may not be generalizable to developing countries, especially those that are severely hit by the pandemic. And to fill the gap, this paper summarizes challenges experienced by high school students in a developing country that is severely hit by the pandemic, Indonesia. It also comes with some possible solutions. The study involved 333 high school students who have experienced both offline and online learning in Indonesia. Survey questions are specifically aimed to summarize challenges experienced by the students while suddenly transitioning to online learning. Our survey are divided into three sections. First, we record how many hours students spend during both offline and online learning for four activities, namely self-studying, completing assignments, using electronic devices, and being connected to the internet. And the significance was measured with 95% confidence rate. The second section has four questions comparing online to offline learning for a particular aspects. And for each question, students need to choose whether that aspect is more relevant to online or offline or equally relevant for both learning. The aspects are assignment workload, lecture clarity, teacher-student interaction, and stress level. And per questions, the responses were quantitatively summarized and reported. And the three questions in the last section talks about the perspective of online learning. The details will be discussed in the results section. Here are our findings of the time spent on online learning. During online learning, high school students do not substantially spend more time in self-studying and completing assignments. They do spend more time in completing assignments, but the difference is only about 18 minutes. In other words, students can keep their study life balance well on online learning. As a result of online learning, students spend about 5 hours more in using electronic devices, and on most occasions, the devices are connected to internet. But since the edit hours is somehow comparable to the number of hours used for online learning, about 6 hours, we can say that students do not change their habit of using electronic devices and being connected to internet, except for virtually meeting their teachers. And from these pictures, we can see that many students correlate higher assignment workload to online learning. This aligns with other research that stating students experience heavier workload on online learning. Students also feel that their lecture sessions are less clear in online learning. About three-fourths of them correlate lecture clarity to offline learning. This is expected as some high school teachers were not used to teach online and they might not be able to effectively use the platform. It also results in more limited teacher-student interaction. 80% of the students believe that offline learning provides better interactions between teachers and students. And given all these challenges, it is expected that students experience higher stress level on online learning. More than 80% students argued that higher stress level is more relevant to online learning. And when asked about inhibiting factors toward their success in online learning, 73% students believe that slow internet connection is the main problem. The issues become more prevalent on developing countries as some of the areas do not have stable internet connections, which is important for online learning. Limited interactions with teachers and among students also included as inhibiting factors. This is expected as some teachers were not used to teach online and also students could not discuss during or after the lecture. And nearly half of the students argue that lack of self-motivation is another issue. And some students are more motivated to do offline learning since they will experience new physical environments, something that online learning do not offer. About three-fourths of the students demand the teachers to record their lecture to help students in online learning, and half of the students also expect the teachers to integrate assignment deadlines. This might help students to allocate their time better as they can focus on one assignment at a time. Students noted that online learning can have some benefits. Privilege to study wherever they want is the most prevalent one, and online learning is also perceived to be time efficient and cost efficient as students are not required to go to the school. In general, students do not have any issue regarding time spent on online learning. There is no substantial and significant difference in terms of time spent on self-studying and completing assignments. Further, they spend more time in using electronic devices and being connected to internet, mostly for doing online meetings with the teachers. Students feel that online learning introduces a higher assignment workload, and this can be anticipated by introducing gamifications in the assignment. For example, setting quizzes via interactive platforms like Kahoot or Quizzes. And the teachers can also integrate the deadlines so that there will be no two or more deadlines at the same time. And to improve lecture clarity, the teachers are expected to record their lecture. Students can watch the recording when they are unsure about some course materials. Workshops about online learning platform are also encouraged for the teachers so that they can update their technical knowledge and effectively use the platform for teaching. And limited teacher-student interactions can be addressed by introducing games specifically designed for online meetings like virtual bingo or online trivia. It is also possible to use a non-conventional ways of teaching like drawing in a virtual blackboard. Having the aforementioned suggestions followed, students might not experience higher stress level during online learning as impact of the causes are somehow mitigated. It is also clear that slow internet connection is a major issue inhibiting the success of online learning. Though this cannot be directly addressed by the teachers, teachers can provide a synchronous alternative for students who cannot attend the lecture, like meeting recordings or downloadable course materials. Limited interactions with other students can be addressed by introducing online collaborative platforms like Slack. Teachers can also set a few group assignments that focus on discussions. And for the lack of self-motivation uh, is another major issue. At least teachers can make the lecture sessions become more fun to motivate the students. Teachers can introduce games or teach in non-conventional ways. Students see a few benefits of online learning, and those should be preserved as benefits. So the conclusions from our works are, we highlight some challenges experienced by high school students while transitioning to online learning due to the pandemic. And despite the challenges, students do not substantially spend more time in learning. Several additional suggestions are also provided to deal with the raised challenges. And for future works, we plan to reconduct the survey on larger sample to see whether the findings are generalizable. We also interested to evaluate effectiveness of the provided suggestions. And that is the end of my presentation. Thank you for your attention and stay healthy.